Saturday night on the dirt roadside of the county line. Dirt roadside of the county line.
Hi, and welcome to Valemount Backstage. We're here with High Valley, award-winning country act, a country duo, Brad and Curtis Rempel. Gentlemen, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. So Valemount is, you're playing in Valemount December the 6th. This is going to air after the show. It's the last day of your tour. You've been on the road for at least 6 weeks now. How's it been going?
It's been going awesome. It's kind of a bittersweet day here in Valemount. It's a beautiful weather, a beautiful town, obviously, but it's our last show of the tour, so we're a little sad. At the same time, we're pumped to be going home. So it'll be a good place to finish the tour.
All right. So 6 weeks, where have you been playing? What kind of places?
We've been playing all over Canada. We've been all the way from Quebec to Vancouver, BC. So just touring, you know, from east to west. It's been pretty amazing.
Great.
We've seen a lot of little small towns and some big cities, and it's just been great. Canadian country music fans are amazing coast to coast, and they've been really supportive on this tour.
Awesome. Well, you guys are no strangers to a small town. You're born and raised in Lacrete, Alberta, which I understand is about, what, 8 hours or so north of Edmonton? Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. It's way up there. It's a farming town. We grew up on a farm, actually, 18 miles north of Lacrete. So we were pretty far from even the small town that was up there. But that's where we grew up, going to school in Lacrete. And
yeah, it's a one stoplight town, much like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bigger. It's about 2,800 people, but it's just a great place. You know, there's not that much going on, so you make your own entertainment, and I think that's part of the reason why our band started, is we had enough time to try and create our own entertainment. Music was a huge part of growing up.
In the dark and we work hard, live right, tear it up on a Saturday night on the dirt roadside of the county line. Dirt roadside of the county line.
So I guess that's my question. So I read a little bit about your background. You guys didn't have a TV in your household till you were 14, is that right?
Yeah, I was 14. And even when we got TV, we only had rabbit ears with CBC. It was, you know, Hockey Night in Canada is the only thing we ever saw. So TV was not a big part of our life. Music was, hockey was, and farming definitely was.
Right. Well, you've been playing a long time. Got to be 17 years now, 18 years, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Right. So how did music sort of come to you as a more formal thing? Obviously, you played as a family. You probably sang in church and stuff. And so, how did you get into it a little bit more seriously?
Well, the turning point, honestly, was in 2007. We got offered a record deal in Nashville. And that's when we had just quit our jobs, actually, and went full-time, kind of risky, and thankfully it paid off. It took a few years, and but country radio really started coming on strong in 2009, and now it's been, believe it or not, 5 years since we started getting played on country radio and CMT, and that makes all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you just released your 4th album, County Line, but you've had some really good success with it. Broken Borders, your first record in 2007, 2 GMA Canada Covenant Awards, and then the next record, High Valley, 5 more awards for that. You've been nominated for Juno Awards. You guys you're doing real well.
Well, the awards are definitely good. We definitely don't wake up in the morning trying to, you know, get nominated for awards. We just love making music for you know, the average country music fan. But it's good when people do nominate you for something. It definitely is not a bad thing. So we're very thankful for all of that. But at the end of the day, what we find a lot more exciting is when people sing our songs back to us at a show. That's a lot cooler than any other experience.
Right. Yeah, it's got to be really great. You guys have done a lot of work playing with all kinds of people. Brad Paisley, you've opened for Keith Urban, Leanne Rimes, Reba McEntire. And I see you've been mentored somewhat recently by Paul Brandt.
Yeah. Paul's been, I don't know what you could say, just absolutely mind-blowing amazing for us.
He's been he's been our role model, and he's been a friend at the same time, you know, and he's opened up so many opportunities for us, you know, having us play on the CCMAs. What year was that?
2009 at GM Place in Vancouver.
Yeah, he had us do a song with him at the awards, and nobody knew who we were at the time. We had nothing on radio, and everybody's like, who's this band? And Paul kind of introduced us to the country music world here in Canada. And
took us on tour, 45 different shows.
Yeah.
He produced our record On the Combine and When You Call My Name, produced both those songs. He's just been ridiculously supportive, and he was a huge part in getting us on the Grand Ole Opry for the first time. He made a few phone calls, and that definitely doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm. So that's got to be a major thrill to be on the Opry.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, it's the stage that every country artist dreams of performing on, and we were able to, fortunately. And it was unreal. Our whole family flew down from Lacrete to experience that with us. So that's pretty amazing.
They had about 5 days notice, and a couple of our sisters didn't even have passports, so they had to get down to Edmonton, get a 24-hour passport, fly to Nashville. And they don't fly that often, so they have this massive horror story of flying and how intense it was. But anyway, they all made it down and saw the show, and it was... Ricky Skaggs was the man who brought us on the stage that night and introduced us, and he's been a massive role model as well. And we couldn't be more thankful.
Mm-hmm. And on your new record, County Line, Ricky Skaggs does a song with you guys?
Sure does. Make You Mine.
Yeah, we... Well, actually, Brad emailed him, and he didn't respond, and then I emailed him, and he did respond and said, sure, I'll do it. So that was pretty flattering for me.
We're trying to get him on the music video right now, so I emailed him, and he hasn't responded, so maybe you should try.
Yeah, I'll just send him an email. I'm sure it won't be a problem.
That's funny. County Line's doing real well. You guys are getting heavy rotation on Canadian country music. Is it breaking into the States for you?
Yeah, it's somewhere in the 20s on Sirius XM, the highway, satellite radio in the U.S., so it's doing good on that chart, and it's regardless of charts, we definitely noticed that people must have heard it a lot because they're singing along, and there's a moment in the show when you can kind of feel the energy go way up when we start that song. Curtis walks out with a banjo and people realize what's coming next. It's a good moment.
Out, that's where we begin. Right smack dab where the blacktop ends. Yeah, the field's got hay, hay's got barns, barns got lawful.
The record's a little bit of a departure, I would say, for you. A little bit of a different sound. Is that intentional?
Yeah, definitely. When Brad and I sat down to talk about recording a new album, we decided that we wanted to have more fun than we've ever had on a record, and so we just, you know, when we were filtering through songs, we had the same filtering process. We've always been about faith, family, and farming, and I guess we just added fun to that list and made sure that people would, you know, crank it up and roll down the windows and stomp their feet and just have a good time. So we really made a big effort to have a lot of energy on this record, and I would say that's the main difference.
Yeah, it definitely comes through. There's a lot of energy. It really pops, this record. It's a lot of fun to see. I want to talk to you a little bit about something else you guys are doing, and that's the Food for the Hungry program. And you guys have been involved. We saw your video here. We've actually been playing it where you went to Burundi.
Oh, wow.
Tell us a little bit about how did you get involved and why did you get involved?
Well, we've always, honestly, ever since we did music, we saw other bands that were kind of making some form of statement with the platform they'd been given. Paul Brandt was talking about drilling water wells in different countries, and we'd always seen that kind of thing, and we started approaching organizations like that and saying, hey, we'd love to come alongside. So Food for the Hungry was really on board with the concept we had, which was find us a village that has no sponsorship, and we want to be there for day one. We want to start the program, and we want to take our fans and the media and everybody along for the ride, so that hopefully in 5-10 years we can be going back with, you know, doing trips where our fans can win the opportunity to come with us and go to Burundi and see the difference that their support has made. So we were able, it was a unique situation, we were able to get in on day one and start this partnership with this village in Kianza, it's called. And Curtis sponsored kids, I sponsored a boy named Avod, and now, you know, we're just hoping we can show people in a few years, kids that are graduating from college or getting some kind of a great job, or maybe we can go and with our own two hands and some help build a school. Or, you know, we want to dream big about this, and it's obviously at our shows, people are sponsoring kids, and that's amazing. But we definitely want it to be more than that. We want it to be a long-term commitment to this village.
Right. And have you seen some of the changes that have happened there?
It's only been 2 months, so no, we've only been there one time. And the main change we've seen is that when we were there was 0 kids in the sponsorship program, and as of today, there's 338, I believe, Canadian country music fans that have sponsored 338 kids out there.
That's great. Do you want to give a little plug out for how do people get involved in sponsoring?
Yeah, for sure. You can just go right to our website, and there's a link that says sponsor a child. You just click on that, and it'll walk you through it.
Yeah, our website's highvalleymusic.com.
Right. Well, it's nice to see. I mean, a lot of times you see celebrities and people with some kind of influence going there and just making a photo op and then taking off. But you guys are obviously getting in hands-on, and you want to really do some more for the community.
We do. I mean, we're from a farming family. We feel kind of spoiled that we get to play guitars and mandolins and sing for a living. That's a pretty wussy thing to do for a job. So anytime, we were in Belize one time, and this radio station was building a new radio station, and they actually had Curtis and I be the general contractors for the building of this, and that's not a good idea at all.
Musicians as contractors.
Yeah, it was horrible, but it worked. So in Burundi, we definitely try and bring people that are a lot more qualified than us, but we like to help, and we're not afraid to get our hands a little dirty.
Great.
We're pretty clean right now.
I want to talk a little bit about the process that you're going through with your records. It's kind of evolving. You're working more and more with outside writers. You're working with Nashville writers and working with some people there. How's that changing your music?
Well, I like to think that it's making the music better. As a kid living in Lacrete, Alberta, it's not like I knew any other kids who wrote songs, so I would naturally write by myself. As the opportunity presented itself, you start co-writing a little bit, and then now I have a publishing deal, and I actually, 9 to 5, normally 5 days a week, if we're not on the road, I'm going to Music Row and writing songs with other people. And you do it enough times, you get really comfortable co-writing with people, and the other thing is we have a very strong sense of what we want to be about and what we want to write lyrically, and that's actually a really positive thing, because anytime you have a specific direction, it's a lot easier to take your co-writer with you and find the magic you're looking for. So on this record, we just had such a great pop producer that he'd never done a country record before, and that's where a lot of that fun and the pop top 40 sounds come from, is he's taking his influences and we're taking ours and meshing them together.
Who was the producer?
His name's Seth Mosley, and he wrote quite a few of the songs with me. And just a great young guy who's, he just won Billboard Producer of the Year, so he's got a good future ahead of him.
Nice, awesome. What's next for you guys? County Line is doing real well. It's moving up the charts. It's actually staying on the charts. I think it's been like number 8 for quite a while now on the charts here. What's next? You're finishing your tour. You're going to take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, we're going to go up for Christmas, see our family in Lacrete.
Yeah. Take a little bit of time off, just to kind of reset and be with family and just get used to our own homes again. we're pretty used to the bus right now.
Yeah, and the end of January we get to go to Mexico and play a show in Cabo. And then after that, it's back to normal, a few gigs here and there. And summer's always the busy season. And
a lot of festivals in the summer, on the weekends and stuff.
Right.
Hopefully we can come back somewhere not too far from here. It's been a while since we played a big BC festival, so it'd be good to come out this way.
Mm-hmm. Looks like you're kind of on a 2-year cycle for your albums now. Is that so? You mean you're going to tour this record for a while and work on some new material?
I hope so.
I bet you probably have lots in the can you could go to now, right?
Yeah, we're starting to get more and more that way, where you're always writing for the next record. And as a matter of fact, in I think 3 days, I'm writing for our new record. So we're always doing that, but that's not at the forefront of our minds. I think at the forefront of our minds right now is the fact that County Line is doing great. Mm-hmm. We've got a new single called Make You Mine that's going to come out next week. That's the duet with Ricky Skaggs. And we're just excited for people to hear these songs. I don't even really want to talk about other songs right now.
Great. Anything you want to talk about we haven't mentioned kind of covered a pretty good gamut of things.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I think we got it.
You guys look pretty lively for the end of a 2-month tour.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a great tour. We got a great bus driver. We sleep while he drives, and we wake up pretty rested in the next town.
Yeah.
So it's not that hard.
No.
So just a last question about the tour. You've been doing a lot of smaller communities,
Yeah.
and I know that you go back to your 3 Fs, your faith, family, and farming sort of thing. Is that why you're doing smaller communities as well as larger centers?
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. Another reason would be that we find with the type of music we sing and the country fan in general, you can usually find them outside of a city a lot easier than you can find them inside a city. So I know a lot of bands hit all the main cities, and that's great, but we're from a small town. We know how exciting it is when somebody makes the effort to do something in your town, and how big of a deal an event can be in a small town. So this is our first ever headlining tour. And our booking agent shared the same philosophy. We said, man, it's called the County Line Tour. We're talking about being on the dirt road side of the county line. Why don't we literally do that and get out to those towns?
You guys remember first person you saw in concert, first act?
Yes, sir. Mid-South Boys, 1997, Beaver Lodge, Alberta, at the Peace Country Gospel Jamboree.
I was 7 years old, so I hardly remember that.
Yeah.
But we've been going to those kind of festivals since I was probably not even born. So
yeah, they ended up winning a Grammy Award. They were huge role models for us. They had that vocal group sound, but with the faith and family kind of fused into their country lyrics. And we ended up touring with them years later, getting to know them real well. And just when this tour started, the lead singer texted me and just sent an encouraging note saying, whatever you do, remember every town, enjoy every show and every minute of this tour, because now they're retired and he misses it. So it's pretty special that they'd be supportive and just reminding us to keep our heads screwed on straight and kind of soak up the moment.
Yeah, it's great advice. Who are some of your other influences?
Diamond Rio, Black Hawk, Shenandoah, Alabama.
Ricky Skaggs has influenced me. He's a mandolin player. I play mandolin, so I love Ricky Skaggs quite a bit.
So a lot of the vocal group influence, obviously.
Yeah, vocal groups and bluegrass kind of. Country vocal groups and bluegrassers were by far our biggest influences. You start noticing as you write, for me anyway, writing so many songs that you have to start diving into other influences than just the same 3 or 4 that we've always talked about. So then you start remembering all the pop and rock stuff that you grew up listening to. And we listen to top 40 radio all the time, and we know what's current too. So try and keep up with 2014 musical sounds, but now it's almost 2015, so we'll have to change that.
Right, but even with that, you still have a unique sound, and you kind of use the banjo and the mandolin in a different way, and your vocals really, your powerful vocals kind of work you in a little different than a lot of the straight line country acts that are out there right now.
Yeah, we call it popgrass. It's we think we're the most bluegrass we've ever been, and we're also the most pop we've ever been on this record, and that's something that didn't really exist a few years ago. But you listen to pop radio right now, and you're going to hear banjos on it. It's the craziest thing. And almost more than you hear on country radio. So we thought we'd bring country radio a little thing called popgrass, and so far they've liked it.
Nice. Yeah, people seem to be responding real well.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks very much for coming in, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Can't really say much about the show because this is aired after the concert. So. But anyway, thank you very much, and best of luck in the future. We hope to catch up with you again sometime.
Thank you very much.
Work hard, live right, tear it up on a Saturday night on the dirt roadside of the county line. Dirt roadside.